Hey everyone, what you're about to watch is the most valuable segments from my weekly Q&A, where new and experienced recruiters get together to ask questions and solve problems. If you want to join the next one, just click on the link in the description to join. It's completely free. You don't need to give me your email address, telephone number, or anything like that. And I'll personally be there to answer any of your questions. Oh, and I've also put together this recruitment starter pack for those in the beginning of their journey, which tells you exactly how to get your first client. You can grab that once you're in our community for free as well. All right, then let's get back into the video.
Okay, so you did the initial bait, which is throw
Yeah.
like the anonymized CV, which looks good on paper. Your clients, one of them responded back saying, "I'm interested in your candidate," and then next thing is I would get them on the phone. If you can get them on the phone, just so you can get all the details in one go, and so you're not having like the whole email back to back sort of emails you're going back and forth. What you want to do is get them on the phone. You'll be like, "Oh, perfect, that's great. And what's your best contact number so I can give you a quick call to discuss this further." Once you get them on the phone, let them know, you've got the candidates available. He's experienced, as you can see from the CV, is all singing and dancing. What are you looking for? So then get the name of the client, the location, what they're looking for, the requirement, the details in terms of how long it is short term, long term, the salary that they're offering, is it a relocation package, literally all the details you can. And the more you can get, the easier it becomes to sell. Does that make sense? Because essentially, like recruitment in sales, you're selling a vacancy to the worker, and you're selling work. And you're selling sort of the worker to the client, right? So ideally, what you want to be doing is get all the details in one go. Once you get all the details in one go, is go back to your candidate who's not available, right? Because you'll be like, all right, I'm going to get back to the candidate and I'll come back to you shortly. And go onto CV Library now. Now you want to go into CV Library or any sort of job boards that you use and find them a candidate that matches everything that they're looking for. What you want to do is you want to speak to the candidates on the phone and be like, "Listen, I've got a client. This is what they're looking for. You'll be a perfect fit for this because this is what they want." And see if this candidate can do exactly what they require. And if they can do everything that they require, and get back to your client straight away, like, "Hey, I've just spoke to candidate so and so. Unfortunately, he's not available. He's just been booked up, as you can imagine. And high end candidates like this are in huge demand. And I've got so and so available, as experienced, if not more experienced. We're happy to keep it at the same rate discussed. Please let me know your thoughts." As you can imagine, and he'll probably be snapped fairly quickly if we don't hear back from you shortly, because they already know the first one has gone like out of the market. So then it's up to them to get back to you. So you throw the ball in their court.
And how would you like handle compliance? Obviously, you'd get them to sign something.
Okay, so before you send over you send an anonymized CV, and they say to you, "All right, cool, let's go ahead with your candidate. We don't want to lose him." So now you've offered them real value. You've got a candidate who's available, who can interview. I'll say to them even like, "Okay, when do you want to interview so and so?" They're like, "Can we do next week, Wednesday, the 24th, or etc." Right? I would even schedule in the interview and just be like, "Just to confirm the interview, I would need you to sign our terms and conditions." They're more likely to sign your terms and conditions now because you've offering them value. You're offering them a candidate that's actually available, rather than from the get-go. Some people, what they do wrong is, as soon as a client responds back saying, "Hey, I'm interested in your candidate," they don't just get them on the phone. They'll be like, "All right, here's our terms and conditions." And you're less likely going to get clients to sign your terms and conditions when you haven't offered them immediate value. Like, terms and conditions sometimes is a bit scary and daunting for clients. They think like, if I sign it now, I'm stuck with you, or legally I'm bound to work with you. And just always iterate to them. By signing our terms and conditions doesn't mean you got to work with us. There's no obligation of you hiring our staff. It just means anyone that I send over to you, you cannot hire them without our consent. That's all it is.
Okay, yeah, that's
yeah. So then once you got the term signed and then the interview is booked with your candidate, me personally, from our agency point of view, we don't have any terms and conditions with candidates. I'm not sure of I'm sure other kind of sectors do. We don't have any terms and conditions with our candidates themselves. We've got terms and conditions with our clients.
Some people put terms and conditions on their website for candidates. So they just on the job page or whatever, they just put at the bottom in small print, here's a link. But yeah, it's not really that required, to be honest with you.
All right, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and then after, hopefully once the interview is done, and if you're doing permanent recruitment, your job is only to book in interviews. Anything after interview is really out of your hands, in my opinion, because it's all about how your candidate then handles himself at the interview, how he kind of I don't know, comes across to your client.
And it's basically our job to like just choose the best candidate that's most likely to actually pass the interview stage, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Get the best one to represent your agency to the best of their ability, and you want to get the most competent ones. Yeah.
And would it be professional to? Is it common practice for these clients to actually tell the interview process to the recruiter?
Yeah, you can ask, and it's like, is there any? So, what's your interview process? And they may say to you, our interview process is normally we just interview your candidates. If he's successful, then we'll have a second stage interview. Some will just say to you, oh, he'll be meeting me and the board or the manager or whatever. And so yeah, you can ask what the interview process is like, because they may differ from one client to another.
Yeah, just to add to that, I recruit for nurseries, and one of the things that people have to do once you submit their CV and if they've got an interview, on the day when they go, they have to fill in an application form. So people have different, like you said, people have different processes. But the best thing to do is find out as much information about it as possible, because if you tell the candidate like, oh, it's just one interview and the next minute there's 2, 3, whatever, they're gonna think you've misinformed them. So it's better to know it from the outset.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, cool.
Alaikum, brother. I've got a question.
Alaikum.
When you first started your recruitment agencies, what was some of the major obstacles that you were facing? Would you say
Sorry, say that again.
like obstacles, like a lot of problems?
Okay. What's the most the obstacles I faced when I started my recruitment agency? That's a good question. That's what are the main obstacles? Timing, because like, of course, if you're working already and you're just trying to do this, build it up on the side, I would say timing is definitely an obstacle, but you just have to really, I'm assuming some of you guys are like in full-time positions or at least part-time positions, so you're working somewhere else, so you're kind of doing this on the side. If you are, timing is very important. You have to also put in enough hours to get your agency off the ground, and the only way you're going to do that is by working like long hours. So for example, in the morning before you go to work, just send out emails to hit the inboxes of your clients. So by lunchtime, when you're on lunch, you can then pick up the phone and then call them whilst you're at work and be like, hey, I've sent you an email this morning, just kind of following up. And that's what you want to do. So organization. And another thing you want to do is your candidates, you want to speak to them like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. in the evening. So yeah, that's organization is one. So one of the main obstacles I would say is timing was one of them. Other than that, I didn't really have any obstacles. And the reason being, to be honest, is I was in recruitment already. Does that make sense? I don't like lie to you and be like, I just got into it from nothing. I was in recruitment already for like 6 years. I was working for a company for like 6 years, 6.5 years, or close to 7 years. And so then when I left, it just made sense for me to do what I was already doing for 7 years. And because I've been doing it for so long, I already knew the industry inside out. So it was a lot easier to kind of pick up from where I left. But saying that, obviously, I had to kind of do things from scratch, where I had to get my own clients again, I had to get my own candidates. And the best way I managed to do that was just to outsource it. And this is the Fiverr method as well that the brother mentioned. And it's definitely the most effective method that I found personally as well, which was find a method that works for you and how to scrape candidates, how to scrape clients, find a method that really works for you. And then you don't want to be doing this. This is like the most time-consuming practice, or the time-consuming task that you can do. You want to outsource this to someone, preferably abroad, overseas. And so it's a lot cheaper, it's more cost-effective for you. And what you want to be doing is bigger tasks that you can make money, and leave these, handle these tasks to like the admin staff. And yeah, that's how I build the company. I hope that answered your question somewhat. I think I kind of waffled on a little bit. Yeah.
You've got another question. This is from Hamza, looking to start in the next few weeks and go quite hard, but niche is what I'm struggling with most. Background in project management, so job titles like program manager, project manager, business analyst, pro, etc. I may need to niche down to a particular industry, as project management is in many different industries and the skills vary widely. Any experience in this area or hints and tips on where to start or whether this is even a viable niche?
Okay, that's quite a long question. I'm trying to see where to start from. In terms of background, so project management, program manager, project manager, business analyst. To be honest, I'm not really too familiar with your background. I know what project managers generally do, but I don't really know how to niche that down further. And if you was to niche it down, I don't know the demand for that particular industry. I'm not sure if you do, Asad.
I know about all the job. I haven't obviously got experience within those roles, but I know IT project management. But yeah, even financial services is quite good. Project management, when I attribute what project management, IT comes to mind initially, because obviously there's IT project management, all the methodologies and stuff like that. But I can't say if it's a good niche because I don't recruit for it. But I'd say again, what we advise, look online and obviously see what kind of vacancies are out there on the job board and stuff like that. If you're finding that so many agencies are putting IT project managers or financial services, technological roles, or whatever, then you start thinking there is demand in this industry. That's one of the best way of gauging it. Also, like you can look at ChatGPT and stuff, look at how many agencies there are that do project management. So you can put in, for example, how many project management or IT project management agencies are there in the UK and stuff like that. Recruitment initially, before you start, is about gathering information, is about understanding your markets. That's one of the ways I'd advise.
Yeah, I guess another way of doing that as well, with what Asad mentioned, was going on Indeed, and when you go on Indeed, type in, for example, any vacancy like project manager, for example, and then type in UK or London, and then you can do where it says posted by. So you got a filter on Indeed. It's free as well to go on. There's posted by, and you got two options: by employer or by staffing agency. And select staffing agency, and if you find there's a lot of vacancies being posted by staffing agencies, then it clearly means that there is a demand for this and the agencies are being used. But if you find that there's only literally one staffing agency or there's no staffing agencies posting any of these vacancies, it's an indication that there's not much demand for it, or at least for agencies anyways.